What about the financial stability of your companies? I know some people are way out there and they just let you know exactly what they're doing financially, and they're letting you know, here are the places we need to improve financially, here are the things that we're really rocking on. So when it comes to that financial stability or the financial information that's volunteered by the managers, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's absolutely important, for everyone within the organization to know, not just the management line. And the reason is, each individual contributor within the organization, how can they know how they can better impact the financial outcome if they don't know what's going on? So I think it's extremely important to share. And then also, there are going to be times and ups and downs within companies, and times things are great and times things are tough. And I think that you never want your employees to be surprised when something happens. So I think it's absolutely important to share all the way down, through everyone within the organization, and not just keep it at a purely management level.
I think it's really important to understand how your company makes money too, and understanding what's going on in the world. It's important to, whether it's, you watch Jim Cramer, listen to different CEOs talk, or, look at the newspaper or whatever, understand what's going on in your market. And for me, I'm not a finance person. I didn't study finance, but I've really tried to focus it so I can understand it, because I think that makes me a better employee.
And then to add to that, to know how you can make the difference. How are you helping that bottom line? Some of us don't have direct sales that are under us, but you're definitely helping that bottom line, and how you're doing that and how you can help that company reach that goal is really important.
Do you remember what it was like back in 2008 and 2009? And how difficult it was during that time? You think about how everyone had to really tune in to their companies and find out how they're doing. It was a great learning opportunity for all of us. And I know that was the days where we really teamed together and said, we don't need to buy those extra boxes to box things up. We can reuse the boxes from the manufacturers. Little things to make a difference. But that was coming from everybody in the company, just thinking about what we spend money on. There is a question in the crowd. Yes, please.
So it sounds like, obviously, knowing the financial stability of your company is very important. Are there any best practices that your company uses, in particular, to share that information?
Any best practices shared within your companies?
Within our organization, we have a plant meeting that we hold every quarter. So we even have the factory workers in there that are helping manufacture the product, because, again, I think it's important for everyone to know. There's certain things, for example, that can impact the bottom line. For example, if a product is not manufactured where, it has to go to scrap or something, and they can help, that's something that they can help reduce. So we do that within our organization on a quarterly basis, where we share all of the information from the financial standpoint, as well as what things within each individual department can be fine-tuned in order to help impact the finances in a positive way.
Most companies, I'm sure Rexall does it, Eaton probably does it, have a quarterly meeting actually to discuss finances. They'll put it on they'll record the meeting, put it on the website. You can go on and find that and listen. And there's a lot of information, not just numbers, about the direction of the company, the goals for, the quarter, the half, or whatever.
I have a mentor that's a controller, and that's all he does. So we go through P&L every other month, and we talk about different things like mergers and acquisitions. One of our mentoring sessions, we watch the investors meeting. So things like that.
Really great. Good. Very important. So I'm going to ask one last question here to close up, and I'm going to open up the floor to see if there are any other questions. But one of the last questions I wanted to ask the panel is, where do you see the future of the industry going? You can think about that before you answer.
It's an interesting thing, I think, because at least, all of us at some point are working with an electrical grid that's very outdated. It's not keeping up with the technology that we have. And we're dealing with a lot of times contractors who've been in the business for 25 or 40 years or whatever. So they're not working with iPads. They are still doing estimates on paper. And I see the industry, as you get younger folks come into the contracting side of the business, be more receptive to the technologies that maybe in distribution or manufacturing we're already putting into place. So I think that's one thing that's really going to continue to improve, is the effectiveness of technology with the contractors. I have a very large contractor out of Florida that's involved in the multifamily business, and everything they do is, they use iPads, they They work remotely from their headquarters in Florida and all kinds of things. So they're really on the cutting edge, but Joe Schmo contractor is probably not. So I think you'll see a lot more of that as a younger generation of tradesmen come up.
I think to piggyback on that, everybody's gonna want things quicker. Everybody's gonna be using iPads, iPhones, whatever. But they're gonna be, you'll be able to go look and see where your gear is. How Pizza Hut has that thing where you can see when your pizza's being made. They're gonna want to know, where is my gear at? Is it going to be, is it in production? Is it in engineering? And then, okay, it's out for shipment. So just a constant communication with the manufacturers and the distributors and everything.
Where it's more real time.
Yeah, real time, absolutely.
One thing I will add, just on the technology piece, is I think the tendency is that once you get on, and I think this is why Amazon distribution is not becoming successful in this business as much as maybe it was anticipated, is because this is still a relationship business. No matter what side of the coin you're on, it's still a relationship business. And Amazon doesn't have the relationship. And so you can bring in the iPads, you can use the pizza tracker, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, the guy's still gonna wanna talk to somebody that he knows and that he trusts. And so I think that as we add technology, I think we need to make sure and be mindful to continue the relationship side of things and not to take that for granted, not to take for granted the fact that you can go onto Rexel's web shop and order. They still want to call you and confirm that you got the order, right? So.
And have your technical expertise.
Yes, exactly.
What do you think about this,
And then looking outside the box, and what services can we provide that they can't get at the DIY? Bringing that to the table, because it's a lot about competition. And that's not going to go away. So we really need to work on our relationships and what services we can provide to them that makes us stand out and be different.
That's really great. Yes.
I think, what I'm seeing in my company is integration through technology with our customers. I mean, a lot of what we're doing is integrating systems, point of sale systems. Our customers can make orders through our ERP systems, and they can see all the tracking of the product all the way through, when we bought it, all the way to when it gets to their doors. I think another thing that we're going to see in our industry is more use of data and analytics. I think that knowing more about what's happening in the market, what's happening with our customers, what's happening with our competition, what's happening within our business, our data is growing. And with smart grids and all the technology that's coming into our industry, you have all this extra data. And with the ability now to analyze it and understand what to do with it to grow our industry and grow our business is just going to take this industry to the next level. That's my
great.
opinion.
Thank you.
And I think to piggyback on that is with all that data is being able to understand our customers better and their buying cycles.
What other questions do we have out there?
With all the technology available today, how do you balance your personal life and your
professional life to make it easier on yourself?
I stopped carrying 2 cell phones. It is very challenging because, like I said, yesterday I got my first call at 6:15, and I'm raising 3 kids at the same time. So I got both things going on. Knowing when it's okay to turn it off is a really good start. When I started at Rexel, I was answering emails until 10, 11 o'clock at night. My phone would ring, and the email would ding, and I have to answer it right then. Knowing it's okay not to, I think is a big deal. And setting up boundaries. When are you working? When are you available? When are you not? Because you can be available 24 hours a day. It doesn't mean you should.
I try to set time to spend with my son every night and just make sure I'm present with him. Put the cell phone away, and I'm spending quality time with him.
Yeah, I do the same. 5:30 to 8 is time for the kids, and then yes, the computer probably opens again at 8:30. But you have to take that time, or you're gonna not enjoy your job anymore. So you need that personal life as well.
And on the other side of that is, the fact that you can schedule a doctor's appointment at 12 o'clock or whatever and still be available and, answering emails. It allows you flexibility to live your life a little bit sort of maybe during the day instead of outside of normal working hours. So that's the plus side of things, is that it does allow you to work more conveniently, if you will.
Yes. Here comes the microphone.
That's okay.
Thank you. Okay.
How have you helped shift or been an influencer within your company to help them adjust to the work lifestyles of millennials? I know that you said that you yourselves have done things for yourself individually, but as the electrical industry is a very established industry, how have you influenced the company culture and the managers and senior leadership to adjust to the work styles of millennials?
I had the opportunity to do that more in the last company than in this one. And the owner of the company was 70, very set in his ways, had been very successful, and so his way worked. Like I said, he was a great leader, but his way worked. And so being able to, kind of like what Mo said earlier, challenge some of his established thinking on behalf of my employees who largely were millennials, and present a different way of doing things that gave him an equal or better result, and showing him step by step, this is why we're going to do this, this is what's going to happen, and quantifying those things, instead of just going off and doing our own thing, but really sitting down, engaging conversation, I think is one very powerful way to handle that.
I try to stay very involved with our internship program and leadership development program and try to learn from them. And then I'm, just like you're saying, being very vocal to our management, because they can only improve if they know. And they won't know if we don't talk to them about it. And staying connected with other people throughout the company has helped too.
I think also you have to listen to other people within the organization, because it's kind of one of those things where, there's the term, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So there might be several different ways to do something that can get you a result that's equal to or better, that could also result in time savings or resource savings or budget savings and things like that. So I think it's just important to let everyone speak their opinion and show the different ways that things are being done, so that you can come together and find the best way to do it as a group.
We have time for one more quick question in the back.
Coming from the baby boomer generation, with social media so big, and besides the average text or communication via text message or email, how do you find the impact of Twitter, Instagram, and those types of social medias in your growth of sales? I mean, are you guys seeing any development or any increase because you're utilizing maybe Twitter or Instagram more?
Currently, we aren't seeing direct sales growth from it, but we are definitely seeing more impact, more getting the word about who we are. It's awareness of your brand is really the big push for the Twitter, the Facebook, the LinkedIn. You can't not do it. It is something, that's where the industry is going, that's where the world is going. Will it someday probably be a way to figure out how much sales growth from it? Yes, there will be, especially with e-commerce and how it's going to be all linked together. It is the way the world is going. There's not a good measurement tool currently that we are using, but it is definitely impacting the business, especially I think if you don't do it, it's impacting it negatively.
Yeah, I agree with Amanda as far as within our organization, there's no direct sales that we're seeing from it as far as also not a way to measure. But again, I do think that it's important to be present. Also, I think part of the reason is a lot of the leaders within organizations, it's still within the baby boomer generation, and they're not as apt to go on to social media and Twitter and other areas for a business purpose. Typically, I think most of those mediums are used for personal use, but again, it's kind of the brand recognition thing that I think is important from it.
I think we should selfie a lot more in our business.
Well, with all this being said, we're going to have to move on to the next session. I want to thank Amanda and Stephanie and Melissa and Tara. Thank you so very much for helping us out today. Really appreciate it. Thank you.